What if I told you the man who gave light to the world failed 10,000 times first? There's a story you've probably heard before, a classic one. It's about a man, an inventor, named Thomas Edison. He's the man who gave light to the world. But the road to that very first light bulb was anything but easy. And this story isn't just about science, it's a metaphor for life itself. They say Edison failed. Not once, not 100 times, but 10,000 times. And when we hear that number, we can't help but ask, why didn't he just quit? Now think about it. Imagine you try something 10 times and it doesn't work. How would you feel? 20 times? 100 times? Most of us would throw our hands up and say, maybe this just isn't for me. But Edison thought differently. When a reporter asked him, how does it feel to have failed 10,000 times? Edison simply smiled and said, I didn't fail 10,000 times. I just found 10,000 ways that won't work. At first, it sounds like a clever punchline. But if you really think about it, that single line holds the secret to success. Because Edison didn't define failure the way most people do. He saw every wrong way as a step forward, a piece of data, a new lesson, something that brought him closer to the answer. That's the mindset shift right there. We live in a world that glorifies winners and shames losers. But Edison reminded us, failure, ISNT, the end of the road, S, part of the journey. If Edison had stopped at the 50th attempt or the 100th, the world might still be in the dark. If he had quit at the 9,999th try, humanity could have missed out on one of the most important inventions ever made. What makes this story powerful? Isn't just Edison's persistence, S, his redefinition of failure itself. If you see failure as your enemy, it will break you. If you see failure as your teacher, it will build you. In modern psychology, there's a concept called the growth mindset. People with this mindset believe that talent and intelligence aren't fixed. They can be developed through effort, learning, and yes, through failure. Edison embodied this long before it had a name. He never saw failure as proof that he wasn't good enough. He saw it as proof that he was one step closer. And that shift in perspective, that ability to reframe the stories, exactly what allowed him to endure, to stay patient, and eventually to light up the world. So, what can we take from this? First, give yourself permission to fail. In America, we grow up in a culture that celebrates fast success. On social media, we see highlight reels, people showing off the wins, not the struggles. But the truth is, success is never a straight line. It's a messy zig-zag filled with setbacks, detours, and breakdowns. And those breakdowns are where the breakthroughs are born. Second, change the language you use with yourself. When you say, "I failed," you close a door. When you say, "I just found another way that doesn't work," you open a new one. Words don't just describe reality, they shape the way we face it. And finally, remember that every step counts. Edison didn't invent the light bulb on his first try. But every single failed attempt laid the foundation for the success that came after. In your own life, it's the same. Every broken relationship, every lost job, every failed project, they're not wasted. They're preparing you for your moment. Looking back, you'll realize failure doesn't take away from your worth. It's the fire that forges it. So next time you're staring at a setback, remember Edison. Remember that some people are willing to try 10,000 times to change the world. And you, in your own journey, have the strength to try just one more time. Don't fear failure, because sometimes it's the only path that leads to success. Remember this: light doesn't always have to be dazzling. Sometimes the truest light is the one nobody asks for, yet everybody needs. And if the light from this story touched you, leave a like as a quiet nod that it reached your heart. And if you'd like to walk with me on more journeys like this, don't forget to hit subscribe, because who knows? The next story might just be the light you've been waiting for.